everybody, and welcome to the Now What Next Steps podcast here at Malibu Pacific Church. Hey, if you haven't listened to this past week's sermon, Encounter Session 1, please press pause now and go listen to that sermon so this podcast makes a little more sense. But I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, you dangerous person, you. All right, anyways, my name is Joel, and we have...
Andy, I'm here.
Everybody, it's Andy.
Happy day. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, or whatever day you're
going to listen to this. Yep.
Yeah, we're not going to say what day it is.
Yep. Oops.
No, just kidding.
Start over.
Hey, there we go. Hey, welcome to the podcast. Just kidding. Hey, so we were in a brand new series this past week, Andy, called Encounter. And we just came from the series called Practical, and we're bridging the practical side of
our faith, growing our faith
to encountering our faith.
Yeah,
right. Encountering Jesus. And so, what was the kind of like the big shift that came from practical and preaching about a practical faith for 4 weeks to then now encountering that? Like, what was
making
the big
it
shift?
personal? That God wants. Then, when we start taking steps of faith, we experience God.
Mm-hmm.
So when we take a step of faith, we experience God's faithfulness. We're encountering God, and that encounter now, the next step is that God wants it to be personal. Mm-hmm. And really, we're talking about a relationship with God that's characterized by intimacy. So God wants intimacy.
Yes. And
I think we desire that too, an intimate relationship with God. I don't know if we can all name that, but I think that's a desire of every human being.
I think that is part of the DNA of every human, is trying to find intimacy with someone or something.
Yeah.
And we tend to maybe get it wrong where we want the intimacy to happen in our life. And so then we are left like, what just happened? Or
I want more. That's on our website. Yeah, that was empty, or that relationship was empty.
Mm-hmm. That thing that I thought
would bring intimacy. Wow, and we're such a sexualized culture that I think the lie has been out there long enough. And after you're in 20 dating relationships and you're like, I'm still empty. I still had sex with somebody, but I didn't experience intimacy. So it must be them.
Yes.
But God gave us that gift to experience intimacy, but within a context, I believe within marriage with one person, we can experience intimacy. But I just use that as an example that we're looking for intimacy.
Absolutely. And that definition that you put up on the screen, to be fully known and fully accepted.
Yeah.
Love that definition. The real definition right there. But I was actually asking myself, like, how many people really fully know me and fully accept me?
That's good.
And then I'm like, wait, does God fully know me and does God fully accept me? I'm like, yes, I know. Yes, God does. But there are times, or there have been times in my life where I go, wait, am I trying to hide this thing from God? Oh, God, you can't see this part of my life. Or no, God's not going to accept that little part of me. No, so I have to walk away from God.
That's good.
But it was really great because I think everybody, longs for intimacy. So now we're going to talk about sex for the next 20 minutes. And here we go.
Wow.
So this is, no, just kidding. But if you want to have that conversation, please talk with an adult. Just kidding. But you went into Revelation 3:20. It was really fun how you said, we're going to go through the Bible in the next 20 minutes, the entire Bible. And then you're like, we'll just go to the end, right? Because people are like, oh, we're going to go through the Bible in 20 minutes? There's no way. And so it was almost like that, like the little hook or the little dangle, and people I could feel in the room, people kind of relax, and then all of a sudden, like, take that little lean forward. That good. Was like, okay. Oh, we're going through the whole Bible. And then you're like, we'll just go to the end. And it says, Revelation 3:20, here I am, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person and they with me. And so you had a couple of amazing, just like visuals, the video, Sebastian Maniscalco,
I think that's how you pronounce it.
That's Maniscalco?
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh, doorbell.
People were busting up laughing.
But
it's so true.
It totally is.
Well, bring some context here if you didn't see it. But
if you didn't see the video, please go look at Sebastian Maniscalco doorbell, or just write in comedian doorbell, and it'll come up as well. And it just gives a whole timeline of how the doorbell used to be this very sacred thing in our house. When the bell would ring, people would jump out and be so excited because they have company over, and then does this whole bit for, I don't want to give all of it away, but then, flips it and goes, when your doorbell rings today, what happens? Everybody gets really silent.
Who is
it? Oh my gosh, we're
everybody
down, hide. Get the sword. And it's just, I felt it was so true because like watching that for the first time, Andy and I were in my office and I was just laughing so hard because I'm like, what switched in our culture?
I know.
Because I remember like even my childhood like doorbell was like ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong kind of a deal that came into my mind. I remember as soon as I hear those chimes, it was like, someone's here. This is going to be great. And then if someone's knocking at our house, like, you know, or doorbell or a ring and pushes on it, I'm like, it's an emergency. It's an emergency. What's going on? Who's here?
What do they want?
What do they want? They want something, right? So where do you think that flipped like in our culture, in our, I don't know, like the DNA of.
Well, in society, I would just say that switched maybe, I think here with social media. I mean, isolation actually started, sociologists are saying it when cars were invented. And Henry Ford made it accessible or possible with the Model T that it made us a mobile society. So we could go anywhere and actually not know people and move somewhere in the country, leave the communities that we used to be a part of. Before you stayed where you were born. And then another, because you invented the cars, you have garage doors. So now it truly is possible. People used to sit on their porches and say hi to the neighbors and say hi to people. Now it is possible to actually get in your garage, open the garage door, leave, and then come back in, close the garage door, and never say hi to a neighbor.
Yes.
So I think the isolation thing has been happening for the last 100+ years. And then I think social media has isolated us. And the idea of people actually coming to your house and saying hi and having cake that was in the video and connecting. Just, hey, we just wanted to come by and see how the kids were doing. Because children were raised by the neighborhood. I mean, the mom down the street, if they saw one of your kids doing something, she would discipline them. Not a problem. And vice versa. So I think it's been going on for a while, the isolation. And I don't know, the doorbell, I'm just answering that with the doorbell, with just the history or somebody coming to the door. What do you think? 60s, 70s, 80s? Was it, you know?
Oh man, I don't know. I think
garage door.
I think it had to do a lot with the longer the cord on the phone got, or the more wireless the phone got. I believe that's where isolation started happening. I remember younger, we have a phone, but everybody could hear your conversation, and so. Then all of a sudden we had like that 20-foot long extension cable, so you can like walk maybe into another room a little bit. Then you got that wireless phone, and then you can go shut the door. I think it kind of happened with that. And so it almost like tricks you thinking that you're with people. And then what happened is it went another, stage more where text messages were then there. And I'm like, oh, I'm connecting with somebody with a text message, because the whole text message culture. Then social media, as you're looking into other people's lives, you're not necessarily engaging with it, but I think it's like almost like you're downloading it going, oh no, I know what they did. So the next time you actually hang out,
you don't need to go to somebody's house.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I can see that what you did.
That's really good.
And so, but then I think that makes for more isolation, because I watch people have conversations or not have conversations. This has been a huge dialogue I've been having with a lot of the like Webster parents, or it's our elementary school parents, watching parents will sit next to each other, but just be on their phones. And they're like, how's your day? It's good. How's your day? Good.
Fine.
And then one would try and interact like, hey, so I saw that you went to Cabo. Yep. Cool. Like that's it, because they already experienced maybe their photos or their highlight reel. So there wasn't really like much to talk about, because they've already downloaded
already
out
saw
of their
what
life.
You're doing. I'm not even curious.
I'm not even curious anymore.
I love, that's why I love the comedy skit that we showed. He even said with the phone, the phone, my dad used to say that. If the phone rings, nobody's getting that. Or even at dinner, just let it ring.
Let it ring.
Because we're sitting and eating dinner.
That's
more important. They can wait, or all, whatever. They'll call back.
Ooh, that's a good line that I haven't heard in a while. They'll call back.
But there's company here. Saying this is the most important thing. And we've lost that. That's really good. I think social media, we already saw it. Whereas before we would need to go to somebody's house, we wanted to see how the kids were doing. We wanted to check in with you guys.
Let's see the slides from your vacation.
Yeah, exactly. On the slide projector, if anybody remembers that.
Absolutely.
So, now we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Secondly, we've moved so much, we don't know our neighbors.
Yeah.
And they don't have permission, in a sense, to come in, or for us to have permission to go to their house and check in. We just don't know each other.
Totally.
So I think it's so important for all of us, wherever you're living, to make an effort to get to know your neighbors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, be a good neighbor.
I totally agree with that. I think that also goes into the psychology of being a parent these days too. If I remember that I used to play on the streets until the street lights turned on.
Yeah.
I know zero parents that are like, we don't do that because we don't know our neighbors. It's not safe. It's not safe.
It's not safe.
And there's a funny meme that I saw a couple weeks ago that was like, man, when my generation was raised, there was even on the 10 o'clock news, they started off the 10 o'clock news saying, do you know where your children are at? Because parents would be like, oh, whoops, they're not.
Fear. Wow.
Exactly. And so it was maybe just ingrained in that. But the isolation part, I think, was a huge play inside of that doorbell. So people would laugh because I think majority of people in those watching the service and enjoying the sermon was like, oh my gosh, there was a switch.
Yeah.
There was this flip. And how do we answer that now with Revelation 3:20? Do I really want Jesus knocking at my door? Am I accepted? Do I want to be isolated? I think back to one of our conversations. We mentioned this on the podcast a couple podcasts ago. We were talking to Craig T, and we were talking about isolation in the city of Malibu. And we're like, what's up with the isolation thing? He goes, we pay top dollar
to be able to isolate it.
And
that's why we moved to
That's
Malibu.
why we moved. Yeah. And it totally messed with my mind because I was like, oh my gosh, how do you be in a community, in a city, surrounding cities that pay top dollar to be isolated,
right?
When you're trying to build community and take that isolation away,
They don't want somebody knocking on their door.
Oh,
yeah. Not only a real person or a real neighbor, but I wonder about God too.
Yeah.
So I think what happened to us socially is also happened to us spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted to show the video clip. It's funny and everything, but actually there has been a switch.
Yeah.
There was an openness to God. Now, not so much. Or there is a fear. There's a lack of trust. I don't want anybody knocking on the door of my heart.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Because it's mine.
It's mine. Yeah, that's good. It's mine, my heart, trust. I'm not sure. Yeah. Who is this God that's knocking on my door? It's my door. I don't know. There's probably 1,000 reasons.
I'll invite the person to my door who I want to be knocked.
Yeah.
I had a really great conversation last night with somebody who was at the service too, how it just was really playing into their heart of, I don't even know if I want Jesus to be knocking on my door.
Wow.
Because I don't know if I'm good enough.
Wow.
And I go,
that's pretty transparent.
Yeah. I'm like, where does that come from? And the person was just like, I don't know, probably childhood trauma.
Like, wow, that says a lot.
It says not to laugh, but I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, trust has been broken somewhere there.
Something like a funny video, and then talking about the door being knocked, and then you go and have that table set up, that intimate, it wasn't like first date table, but it was just this beautiful setup, and I will eat with you. That I think it was set up on the ground where everybody was seated, and you just went back and forth talking about intimacy. And so in that moment, do you feel like you got everything you wanted to across while you were sitting at that table, or was there something that you were like, I wish I would have said one more thing, or I wish I would have done?
Yeah, I actually had it there that we're face to face with God.
Uh-huh.
And I closed just by saying this is a great day for you to accept Jesus into your life, and let's open that door.
Yeah.
I wish I had also said, and it's the famous line, may the Lord's face be upon you and shine upon you and be with you, as a closer as well. I don't know. I went back and forth. I was thought later, I wonder if I should have just said that, because at the table, we're face to face.
Yeah.
Jesus is sitting at the table with us, face to face with the living God.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about that.
Yeah.
That's the experience God wants to have with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, I pivoted and went with, I just thought, there's a lot of people in here
Mm-hmm.
who don't know Jesus. I don't know. Just my gut was, let's just pray the sinner's prayer at this point and just encourage people to open the door versus I was thinking, and then later I thought, or just leave with the blessing that God's face is upon you and looking at you.
Yep.
So I don't know.
So
that's kind of where I thought I should have maybe ended, and I had it ready.
I think
I pivoted.
It was a great pivot. Well, what would you say to somebody who feels anxious, or I don't want to say introverted, like is it be introverted or extroverted? Someone who's anxious to sit at that table or to have God sit at the table with them face to face.
Yeah, I think we need to do a series. Try before you buy.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, check it out. Sit, listen.
Yeah,
take a chance. Take a risk. Take a little step of faith. Somebody who's new in our church, he went to Craig T. Nelson's small group, and he mentioned the previous week about Peter walking on water. And it was a brand new story to him. All the stories are brand new to him. Just like, there's a lot of people coming to our church who've never been to church before. They don't know anything.
Totally.
And they are sponges. Like, who's that Peter guy? And so he says, yeah, I really resonated with him. I had never heard that story before.
Yeah.
And he said something great that I'd never thought about as a Christian who heard that story in Sunday school forever, in every vacation Bible school, and every camp I ever went to. So I'm bored with the story, but it was fresh in him. He says, why not step out of the boat and walk on water? What's the worst that can happen? It's water. You just swim back into the boat. There's no risk. I mean, why wouldn't you? Oh, he's right. I mean, it's not like you jump out of the water, you're going to die. I don't know, jumping out of a building or a plane or something.
Yeah.
It's water. And that was so refreshing. So I just, what's the risk? What do you lose? I mean, why not sit down at the table and see if God is real and have a conversation with God, invite God in and see what happens. Try before you buy. Take little steps of faith. That's why I love our strategy here is we want to inspire people to explore. I love that. And that's what we're doing. We're exploring faith and then take a step with Jesus. Take little baby steps, or what they say here, try the car before you buy it. Same thing. Try it before you buy it. I just believe you're going to experience God and you're going to love it. So what do you got to lose? Help me out. What do you got to lose?
I love that risk. It reminds me of that famous C.S. Lewis conversation where C.S. Lewis, they're like, what if you're wrong on your deathbed and you're wrong? He goes, well, I'd rather take the risk with my faith and be right, because if I'm wrong, I'm going to end up
in eternity.
It's just like,
but if I'm right, so what's the risk? I mean, what do I lose? A good life?
Yeah. So I love that about, that C.S. Lewis quote of, it helped me, I think, in my faith too, because it was like, what do you have to lose? If atheists believe there's nothing after your life, okay. But what do you have to lose believing that there's an eternity forever?
Yeah. Everything. You're going to lose everything if you choose not to try it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what is the risk? That would be my challenge to everybody, to sit and allow Jesus in and I don't know, start a relationship, see what happens. If Jesus breaks trust with you, well, you're out. You never have to go to church again and never have to think about religion again. You're good.
There you go.
I tried it.
Before you bought
Didn't work before you bought it. Yeah. So that's what I love, everything that we're doing here also at Malibu Pacific Church, is that every time we're inviting somebody or asking somebody to give a little or to serve or to volunteer, those are just steps of try it before you buy it. I mean, just take a step and see what happens.
Totally.
My neighbor that we just recently moved to Malibu, and we were gone last weekend on Sunday night to visit our granddaughter. Anyway, we went there, and And the trash was coming in the morning. We were going to be back later in the afternoon. I said, hey, she came out, anything you guys need? She's super nice. And said, oh my goodness, it'd be great if you would pull our trash cans in or just back up to the driveway. Mm-hmm. And she said, oh yeah, no problem at all. And then the next day we saw her on Tuesday afternoon. We're getting in our car. She was there, and we said, thank you for bringing in our trash cans. It wasn't a big deal. It was from, the front of the driveway to the garage door, back to the garage door. And she's, you know what? I just absolutely loved serving. It felt so good.
Hey.
I don't know why I don't do it more often. And I thought, wow.
Well, I got a couple things.
A couple more, but she hadn't been serving, or it just felt so good. Yeah. So anyway, she tried it. She did it. And I want to do more of that. It felt so good. Yeah. So try before you buy it. Let Jesus in. Invite him in. Sit at the table.
Coming January 2024, maybe?
Try before you buy. Yeah, I don't know. Just check it out. Just check it out. So
absolutely,
that would be my challenge. What do you got to lose?
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Encounter has now kicked off. We have 4 more sessions. We want you guys to tune in every Sunday if you're watching online or listening online, or come on down to Malibu Pacific Church, 10 o'clock. Get here a little early. Get here at 9:30. We got donuts, music, hang out, beautiful patio. And if you're inviting a friend, our big goal as a church is that we don't want to put any type of strain on your relationships with your friends, because we want this to be a safe environment for them. We want to make sure that they are really well taken care of, because we know how much you've poured into those friendships, and we don't want this to be a weird experience or a kooky thing. But we are a church for everybody and every story. And we want you to know that, because you're part of that story. So inviting friends would be amazing. And get here early, because we are running out of seats. This is kind of a cool moment to be talking about. And if you get here a little early too, you get better parking spot. So,
that's
right?
Yeah.
So, but with that, we'll see you for Encounter Session 2 this Sunday at 10 o'clock. What are we going to be talking about this week, Andy?
Well, we're going to talk about believe. And first also Genesis, how that encounter with God was broken and how to restore it. Yeah.
There we go.
So, Genesis 3, everybody loves that. And then, you mentioned it earlier, how Adam and Eve, they both hid. And God is looking for them. We're hiding from God as if we're hiding something from God. It's like, Adam, Eve, where are you? He wasn't asking that question because God didn't know where they were.
Yep.
It's like, do you know where you are?
That's the question.
Yeah. And so, what do you have to hide at the table? Because Jesus already knows everything. We're like, well, I don't know if I want to be transparent. I don't know if I'll be fully accepted. God already knows everything, and he's already said, yes, I accept you.
I don't know if God ever goes, I'm shocked.
What? You did what? I had no idea.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, that's why I don't want to sit at the table.
Yeah.
He already knows.
Already knows. All right. So this week you'll hear it first, how Eve doomed us all. So I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
And Adam was right there with
their accomplice. I'm just kidding. They fall. Yeah. Anyways, it's going to be really, really fun. So we'll see you this Sunday. If you remember, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or hand gestures, please send those in to me, Joel, Joel, at MalibuPacific.church. We love to answer all your questions here on the podcast. Podcasts come out every week, so check it out and hit that subscribe button and share it with a friend who maybe needs to hear something like this. Again, have an awesome week, everybody, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.
Take care.